What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 6, Episode 21, Where There's Smoke, There's Marcel. So if I would have known how funny that cookout scene was where Kiki had thrown the drink on Latisha, I would have done this review a whole lot earlier. Now, we all know that Kiki had thrown that drink on Latisha because the whole entire season they've been teasing us with it, right? But the conversation that led up to the throwing of the drink, that was funny. So we'll get to that later. So this episode starts off where last week's episode ended, which is when Kiki and Melody had met up to talk about Latisha and Marceau. So Kiki had already told Melody that the streets are talking and they're saying that Marceau hooked up with some woman. And now she's at the part where she's telling Melody that this woman that Marceau allegedly had this entanglement with, this woman at the time had a boyfriend. I guess the boyfriend found out about the situation with Marceau and he ends up breaking up with her. So now it is her ex-boyfriend. Now Kiki had already planned to tell Latisha about what the streets were saying. So she had planned to meet up with Latisha and set up a time, a date, a place, etc. Well, Latisha was a no-call, no-show. So Kiki went about her business because she was like, okay, if she's not interested, then, she's not interested. Let me just go about my business. So this man, that the woman that Marceau allegedly had hooked up with, her ex-boyfriend now reaches out to Latisha out of nowhere, right? So Latisha contacts Kiki and wants to know, like exactly what's going on and why didn't Kiki tell her. And Kiki was like, girl, we were supposed to meet up, but you ghosted me. So, I didn't think you were that interested in what was going on. So then Melody asked Kiki, how could Latisha be mad at Kiki, more mad at Kiki than the other woman? And I'm thinking to myself, why would Latisha be mad at the other woman or Kiki? If these rumors are true, shouldn't she be mad at her own damn husband? Melody then asked Kiki if she thought that there was any truth in these rumors, and Kiki was like, I don't know, girl. And so Melody said, well, the Scots always told me where there's smoke, there's fire. So I'm just going to have to, Uno reverse that back on them and let them know, where there's smoke, there must be fire. So moving on from there, they talk about Latisha's website. So Latisha, her daughters launched, their own hair care product business. And so the website also launched, and, they were talking about how in the contact information part of the website, instead of putting, contact information for Latisha's business, it is someone had put Stormy's contact information. So they were having a good laugh about that, right? Because it's just like, how do you not proofread your own website and what's on your own website? And you have somebody else's business information on your website. So that was really funny. Moving on from there, we have Maurice. So Maurice had bought Kimmy a Jeep. A really nice Jeep, which I'm thinking to myself, you better do something. You better do something, buy her something, take her somewhere, do something for her, because you have been a real jerk of a husband lately. So as he's looking at the Jeep, his brother Marceau shows up. So then they start talking about, the lack of sex and Maurice and Kimmy's love life. And, they went from 3 to 4 times a week. Now it's been all the way scaled down to just 1 or 2 times a month. And Marceau tells Maurice, well, welcome to the husband club, the married men club, because that's about normal. That's about average. You don't have anything to worry about. And then he tells Maurice that, how you kept on telling her that it was mental. Well, what if somebody told you that your back pain is just mental and they want you to go and lift, 200, 300 pound, whatever, or do, something very physically strenuous, and you can't do it because you're in pain, and they're telling you, oh, just brush it off. It's just mental. It's not physical. How would you feel if somebody told you that? And I can't believe that for once in my lifetime, I actually had agreed with Marceau. Marceau actually made sense. Then Maurice tells his brother that he's planning to have a cookout at his house, and he wants to invite everybody, including Courtney and Stormy, and he asks his brother, is it okay if I invite them? And Marceau, he's so above it all, right? He's like, you can invite whoever you want to invite. I don't know those people. They didn't exist to me, 6 months ago, and I'm just going to treat them like they don't even exist to me now. So do whatever you want. Moving on from there, speaking of, we have Stormy and Courtney. So they're in bed. Stormy wasn't feeling well. She just got over sepsis, and, Courtney's there taking care of her. And Stormy mentions how Kiki was the first one to reach out to her to check on, how she's doing. Just basically, revealing the shadiness of this particular friend group. So Stormy really appreciated Kiki reaching out to her. Then they talk about, her picture that showed up on, Crime Stoppers, and have a good laugh about that. And then Stormy tells Courtney how Tisha had copied and pasted her business information, Stormy's business information, onto her own website for her own business. So they were laughing about that, like how silly is that? And Tisha tries so hard to come across as this, boss lady, business woman, she's making all this money, and it's like, but you still got to look at the fine print, Latisha. I mean, that's what makes a business successful. You have to look at the fine print. So then they talk about the cookout, and Courtney already tells Stormy that he's not going to be there because he doesn't want to end up in jail over some silliness that Marceau did or said. So he says he's going to keep himself out of it, which I totally agree, because Courtney seems like the kind of person who may have a hard time, keeping his hands to himself when, certain buttons are pushed with him. So maybe it is a good idea for Courtney to stay home. So then we get to Tisha and Marceau. They're meeting up in their business construction site. They're building up another building or whatever. And Marceau himself brings up the cookout. So he's telling Tisha how Maurice had asked him if it was okay to invite Courtney and Stormy because, Marceau and Courtney and Stormy are just not really seeing eye to eye right now, especially after the town hall. Was it the town? Yeah, after the town hall meeting. So Marceau tells his wife, I don't know why Maurice has got to ask me if I'm going to be okay around Courtney and Stormy because I just ignore them. They're nothing to me. I didn't know them however many months ago, and they don't exist in my world. Okay, fine. If they don't exist in your world, why are you mentioning them? Again, if they don't exist, don't say if you don't know them, don't say their name. Don't talk about them at all. So then Marceau brings up how someone had reported them to the city for illegal gambling. And I guess this is centered around their Bet on Black event. So they talk about how, there's haters out there and, people are jealous of them, etc. Tisha also brings up how someone had put online how she had copy and pasted Stormy's business info onto her website. And, only a hater could do something like that, she says. And so they talk about all this hate that's around them. I don't know. Maybe the universe is trying to tell y'all something. I don't know what to tell you. So Marceau kind of plays it down like it was an honest mistake. The web designer made a mistake. And I'd be upset if I paid a lot of money to a web designer and they're just copy and pasting other people's information on my damn website. I'd be like, you're gonna have to give me like a 5, 10, 50% discount for the mistakes that you're making and the embarrassment that you're causing me. So Tisha starts crying because she feels so overwhelmed by all the damn hate. I don't know what to tell you, Tisha. So moving on from there, we are at the barbecue. So everybody's there except for the Whitlows. I don't know if they came in later or if we're going to see them this week. Or I don't know, but they weren't there yet. But everybody else is there. So Martell, he shows up and he greets everybody. And he also greets Melody. And Melody paid him complete dust. And so then Martell greets her again in case she didn't hear him the first time. Once again, she doesn't respond. She completely ignored him. So then Kiki shows up, right? As soon as Kiki made an appearance with her husband, Latisha, all of a sudden, her whole entire mood shifted because Latisha was sitting at the table outside with Stormy, and her husband was sitting next to her, and I think they were playing cards or something. And so as soon as Kiki walked in, Latisha, her whole entire mood changed. And Stormy, Stormy's very nosy, very observant. She was like, are you going to be okay? Are the two of you okay? And Tisha says, I'm good with everybody. Okay, we'll see. So then when Kiki approaches her to give her a hug, Latisha just got up and walked right past her. And so now you're already putting Kiki and, you're making her feel some type of way, putting her in a real funky mood. So wherever Latisha went, when she tried to avoid greeting Kiki, wherever she went on the other side of that yard, she should have stayed over there. Maybe then she would have stayed dry. So I don't know why she came back to the table. So she sits back down next to Marceau. Marceau. Across from her is Stormy. Next to Stormy is Kiki. So they're playing cards. Well, Stormy is playing. She's trying to play cards with Latisha and Marceau, but Kiki is all up in her ear. So Kiki is telling her about Latisha and Marceau and this other woman and the allegations and the boyfriend reaching out to Latisha and Kiki wanting to meet with Latisha to tell her what was going on, but Latisha ghosted her. And so she's going into all of that. And as she's talking, Latisha is also talking, and she's trying to overtalk Kiki, like to drown her out, because obviously she doesn't want Kiki to say these things, especially in front of everybody. So your girl Latisha, she's like yelling across the yard, Reese, 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 trying to get Maurice's attention. And Maurice was probably like, no, you got a whole scene going on over there that I don't want to interrupt. So Kiki's just going on and on and on. And I guess Kiki got frustrated about Latisha ignoring her. So that's when she just, threw that drink at Latisha. I don't know how much liquid was in that little cup, but it was like Latisha was absolutely drenched. It was like somebody turned on a damn water hose on her. That drink got her so good because she was soaked from head to toe. It was like Pastor Kiki gave her a whole new baptism. She was like baptized in that damn drink. She was soaked from head to toe. So Kiki gets up and she walks away because she's upset. Marceau turns to the cameras and he's like trying to do this, like trying to say cut. Oh, we ain't cutting a damn thing. We're gonna keep these cameras rolling because you want to be on reality TV, you want to be famous. Okay, so yeah, that's what we're here to do. So Latisha, I'm looking at Latisha to figure out what is she going to say or do. Latisha's just like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? So Latisha gets up, Marceau gets up. Now they're running to the door and to go into Kimmy's house because, Latisha's, I guess, looking for a damn towel. And Marceau tells Kimmy, now he's really upset right now. So he tells Kimmy, somebody needs to call. Y'all gotta call the cops. Get her out of here. Y'all gotta call the cops and get her drug tested. And so when he said drug tested, that's when Kiki's husband had to jump into the mix. So Kiki's husband got up and he's approaching Marceau like, you're not going to you're not just going to throw my wife's business out there and just, talk about her issues and her struggles so flippantly like that. That's not what we're not going to do today. So he's approaching Marceau because he's not afraid. And Marceau, he does what he always does when a man approaches him, when someone's husband approaches him, because he's been very disrespectful to their wives. For example, when Martell had to confront him in front of Destiny's grand opening, soft opening, and they had that big old brawl with Latisha's mom and everybody was involved. Martell stepped up to Marceau to protect Mel. Lewis stepped up to Marceau to protect Tiffany. And anytime somebody's husband has to step up to Marceau, he steps back. Okay, he steps back and he makes sure there's like about 10-15 people in between him and this angry husband. Thank God Courtney wasn't there. So, because I only imagine, because we found out the next episode he's going to make Stormy cry. So thank God Courtney wasn't there. So Marceau stepping back, Kiki's husband stepping forward because he's trying to take care of business. He's trying to confront this man who's trying to talk about his wife, and that's where that episode ended. When I tell you that Pastor Kiki gave Latisha a whole new baptism, she was, man. And then, so when they showed us the clip for this week's episode, Latisha's still wearing the same clothes. I was like, wow, girl, I couldn't do it. I would have gone home. I'm not going to be sitting out here all day drenched in this drink, water, whatever that was. I would have gone home and changed and then come back or something. I would not have been. Anyway, that up until that episode, up until that part, the whole episode was kind of dry, but that brought her right back to life. So I really did appreciate that. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.